2.2, find slope and rate of change. This is the introduction to slope. Really, I wanted to talk about the basics. What's the most important thing I can know about slope? And then talk just a little bit about those special cases. So slope is going to be review. Nothing new here. But I want you to think about it maybe in a different way than you've thought about it before. I don't want you thinking about just calculating for the sake of calculating. I want you to think about what it means. So it's most important that you can just identify these things by just at a glance. I'd rather have you estimate close to right than calculate exactly right. So slope is change in y over change in x. And we use m for slope. I used to always tell a story about where the m came from, and then I did a bunch of reading, and it's not agreed on. But you probably know it as rise over run. So think about what that means to rise more than you run, or rise the same as you run, or rise less than you run. So we read a book left to right. We also read a line left to right. So if it's rising just as quickly as it's running, basically a 1-to-1 ratio, then it's got a slope of 1. I'm first going to talk about all the positive ones. And just, again, talking kind of the overall big picture here. Well, what happens if it rises more quickly? Then it's going to be a steep slope. It's rising more quickly. It's going to be greater than 1. What happens if it doesn't rise as quickly? Well, it's running more than it's rising. So it's going to be a fraction, right? It could be 1 over 2 or 2 over 3 or 1 over 4. So fractions aren't your strong suit. That, this doesn't maybe make as much sense, but maybe it'll help you understand fractions if you get slope. So it's between 0 and 1. So again, I'd rather have you be able to just glance at a line and guess fairly close than to be able to calculate like a machine. So negative slopes, we're going to see, again, the most important one is it falls as quickly as it runs. So it's going to be -1. If we have a really steep one, then that means it's going to be less than -1. That would be like -2, -3, -4. And if it's falling, but it's falling very slowly, then it's got one of the numbers is negative, but it's going over more than it's going down. So it's going to be a negative number between 0 and -1, like -1/2, etc. And then we've got the weird cases. Right? What are those special cases? Well, the special cases are going to be a horizontal line and a vertical line. And people often forget which one is undefined and which one is 0. So I use the words to help me. I like my little memory devices. And we'll talk about the math in another video. But this one's all about kind of the quick memory things. So vertical, especially with my bad writing, these kind of look like U's. So vertical, I can remember, is undefined. And then vertical has no O in it, but horizontal's got a couple O's in it. It's horizontal. So that one is 0. We'll talk about the math in another video. This one I just want to give the quick overview. So, what is slope? What are the most important things I can know about slope? What did I keep emphasizing? What should you be able to tell me right off? And then keep in mind those special cases.